Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Steven Brown, and in this video, if you haven't watched the first one that I uploaded today, where I looked at forward options that the Toronto Maple Leafs should be looking at in free agency this year, this one's going to be about defensemen, but I will link the other one above the screen. Go check out that video too, and while you're at it, subscribe. We've been getting a lot of those lately, so if you're new here, hi, thanks for being here. Now, like in the last video, we're going to start with a blank, clean slate armchair GM. I didn't make any signings, didn't make any trades. All I did was move a couple of guys down, call a couple of guys up. $10.388 million of cap space there in the corner, but there are some holes to fill. So let's take a look at some defensemen that maybe could fill those holes. First off, before we go into this video, I would like for all of you to carry this mindset here. When people look for defenders, there's a nasty tendency out there to conflate height with theoretical difficulty to play against. Give me the 5'10" honey badger who works their ass off, moves their feet, and bodies up. Not the 6'4" ogre who can only throw the odd cross-check. Eric Gudbranson, everyone's looking right at you when everyone read that. Nice to know that Gudbranson's going to be in the same division as the Leafs, so we could just use him as a turnstile like we did with Alexei Emelin for years. And I don't necessarily know if this is a smart thing to do because viewership engagement is important here on YouTube, but save your comments because no matter who the Maple Leafs walk away with in free agency tomorrow, someone's going to have something negative to say about it. But if you do have something negative to say about it, make sure you type it in the comment section because it really does help out the video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up too. I mean, if you give the video a thumbs down, it kind of does the same thing as giving it a thumbs up. It's all just viewership engagement. But if you'd like to be kind to me, last one here, technically not an unrestricted free agent, but he's a big defenseman. He shoots right-handed. Apparently he's available, so he's going to be on the list too. 13 names to go over. Good God. Well, I'm just going to save everyone some time here, and we're just going to delete Chris Tanev off the list there, because if that was going to happen, that would have happened a couple of years ago. Gonna go ahead and delete Travis Hamonic's name off here too, because if that was gonna happen, that would have happened at the 2017 draft when the Maple Leafs had the opportunity to trade James Van Riemsdyk for him, and they didn't. He hasn't been good in a couple of years either. Gonna go ahead and delete Eric Gustafsson's name off here as well, just because he doesn't really play a whole lot of defense, and you would need to give him power play time, and the Maple Leafs just don't have that with Morgan Rielly, Mikko Leighton, and Rasmus Sandin already jostling for that. 10 names to go over here, technically 9, because if you want to know all about Alex Pietrangelo, link above the screen. So because he's the second highest defenseman here on this list, let's take a look at TJ Brodie. Didn't have the greatest 17-18 season, but his two most recent years are kind of good. And before I go any further here, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the Toronto Maple Leafs almost had this guy when they originally traded Nazem Kadri, but Nazem Kadri nixed that deal, and it never ended up happening, but it was going to be TJ Brodie and Mark Jankowski for Nazem Kadri, and maybe another pick or another throw-in player. Since then, this past January, TJ Brodie has put Toronto on his no-trade list, but at the same time, that's the middle of the season, you know, maybe he's got kids, a wife, a girlfriend, family in the area. It's kind of hard to just get up and move in the middle of the season, and if you have that built into your contract and you know a team is specifically interested in you, why wouldn't you exercise that clause? So the criticism with TJ Brodie is that his results are not very good when playing away from Mark Giordano, but when we're looking at the line combinations or the D pairings that he played on this past season, that's not necessarily the case. Basically, every D partner that he had that wasn't named Travis Hamonic, they controlled the majority of the expected goals for, and the expected goals against is very similar between all the pairings here. TJ Brodie's a left shot defenseman who plays on the right side, by the way. Not a small guy, not a big guy, 6'1", 185 pounds. Will be 30 years old for the bulk of next season, so if you're signing him to a multi-year deal, that's important. And on EvolvingHockey.com here, they're projecting him to sign a $4.9 million deal for about 3 seasons. But I'm pretty sure he'll sign with the first team who offers him more than 3 years. And if you're wondering to yourself, how can the Maple Leafs fit a $5 million under their salary cap? Well, this works out, and this is even keeping Travis Dermott and Ilya Mikheyev. Now, earlier in the week, Elliot Friedman did mention that the Maple Leafs would like to walk away with 1 or 2 new defensemen for this upcoming season, either via trade or free agency. The placeholder there at $5 million or TJ Brodie is one of them, but I mean, even if you move out Travis Dermott in favor of Rasmus Sandin, Sandin's not necessarily new. So are they getting rid of both Travis Dermott and Justin Holl? I don't know. Now, I just realized in doing this, in this hypothetical scenario where the placeholder is TJ Brodie, that the Maple Leafs would have 6 left-handed defensemen in their lineup, and the Vegas Golden Knights did have 5 left-handed defensemen in their lineup that saw them go to the Western Conference Finals. You don't necessarily have to have 3-3 or 4-2. You can have 5 and still have success like the Vegas Golden Knights did. Now, I think Mikko Lehtonen has the potential to play higher up in this lineup as the season progresses, but I would like to at least start the year with him on the third pair and then gradually ease him into it. Again, this is not me projecting what I would like to see happen. We're just going through the options and talking things out together. Anyway, Troy Stecher is next up on this list, and I think he's a very interesting option for the Leafs. Troy Stecher, who was a guy that wasn't tendered a qualifying offer from the Vancouver Canucks because they wanted nothing to do with his upcoming arbitration case, but now that he wasn't tendered an offer, he would sign the new contract and there wouldn't be an arbitration case. And the funny thing about Troy Stecher is that he was almost allegedly dealt to the Toronto Maple Leafs at this year's trade deadline in exchange for Tyson Barrie. This is a guy who is 26 years old, but the past 2 seasons for him have been quite decent. Not the greatest guy at defending off the rush, but in terms of zone starts, he was used an insane amount in the defensive zone this year by the Vancouver Canucks. But still managed to record 17 points in 69 games while also maintaining a positive CF percentage relative to his teammates. All 17 of those points, by the way, coming at even strength. I don't know, man. You could be that effective offensively while starting that many of your shifts in the defensive zone. This is a player that would excite me. We saw it with Justin Holl playing with Jake Muzzin, where Justin Holl kind of needs Jake Muzzin to kind of prop him up a little bit. I think if the Maple Leafs were to get Troy Stecher at a reasonable amount and play him with Jake Muzzin, he wouldn't need Muzzin to prop him up. If anything, he would help Muzzin out a little bit, and I think it would be a decent little D-pairing for the Leafs. Let's just be conservative and throw out $3.25 million. You would not have to go with league minimum guys playing on your fourth line with Jason Spezza. I think that if you moved Holl down to the third pair and gave him less responsibilities for $2 million, I think that he can give you a lot of value. He can still be that right-handed shooting defenseman who has some size to him, who likes to carry the puck a little bit, and that plays on your penalty kill. That player does have value. He can be good at $2 million. I'm a fan of Troy Stecher. I'm a fan of that decor that I showed you there, but still think it's missing something. I guess we can talk about Radko Gudas before I kind of talk about one more defenseman and then just kind of wrap this up because the other names here don't really excite me too much. Gudas, I mean, if you're looking at him over the years, he's been a pretty consistent player, which should prompt you to ask the question, is this just him starting to decline? Is this all the hard miles starting to catch up on him? Or was there just something wrong with the fit in Washington? I like his track record. I like his unique skill set. I like that he has some snarl and some grit and some fight to him. But they better not overpay this player because this season in Washington was highly, highly suspect. So the last name that I want to talk about here is David Savard, the one trade option that we have here. Now, David Savard did not have a very good year last year, but the year before that was incredible, and then it was bad, and then it was good, and then it was worse, and then it was better. That looks like a pattern. Are you feeling lucky? Do you want to take a bet on a guy that's making $4.25 million next season? And is there a stark difference between Gudas and Savard? I mean, Savard you might have to give up a couple of assets for, but looking at what the Blue Jackets gave away Ryan Murray for, maybe not. Now, this is after moving on from Andreas Janssen and Justin Holl. I don't know how too likely that is, but even if you do give Troy Stecher a little bit more money, maybe it costs a little bit less on a longer-term deal, you got some money to still go out there and improve the forward core. That is an entirely new right side. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section because that's what it's for. And like I said earlier in the video, it's all just viewership engagement, even if you are calling me stupid. And also, like I pointed out earlier in the video, no matter what the Toronto Maple Leafs do, no matter what I could have said here in this video, you're always going to get a couple of people that aren't happy with it. So screw it. Just do whatever you want to do. Make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more because more is always on the way. And guys, hopefully we got some breaking news to talk about a little bit later in the day or even tomorrow.